Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. The headline of this piece, CoinField's XRP ledger project Sologenic may see stock trading on Ledger. Now, this CoinField, so they're the ones that had the project that was shrouded in mystery, and it was going to be the biggest game changer. And I've reported on what that was in previous videos, but I'm going to run through this piece, but you know what I found most interesting? Is one of the quotes, I'm looking forward to sharing this with you, but the CEO of CoinField is talking about setting up XRP as a global reserve currency, rather than the United States dollar. Conceptually, this is very fascinating to me, so I look forward to sharing this with you. I've also got this piece. It was a question from Quora. Is XRP dead, or is it just sleeping? This is an individual, nothing personal, but rather uninsightful, lacking knowledge of Ripple and XRP, but this individual sure has some firm opinions despite that. And then I'll wrap up the video with this article titled Bitcoin 2017 Surge Caused by Single Entity, and that's reported by Bloomberg. Now, before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button, and if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP and you love your mama, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. It's what she would want for you. So let's dig in. CoinField's recent XRP ledger project, Sologenic, gained much traction from the ecosystem as it aimed to introduce a sophisticated system to invest, trade, and provide on-demand tokenization of ETFs and fiats. However, the CEO of CoinField, Bob Ross, has ambitions to expand Sologenic into stock trading on the XRP ledger. Now, that's indeed quite fascinating. And of course, this is all possible because there is a decentralized exchange built into the XRP ledger itself, which, of course, is separate from the native digital asset XRP. But you can issue IOUs, right? Anyway, in an interview with Tech Bouillon, Ross informed the community of all the troubles users undertake to diversify their portfolio by buying cryptocurrencies. However, Sologenic provides users with an opportunity to trade in tokenized assets when the stock exchange markets are active. And here's a quote from Ross. Users can trade the tokenized assets during the stock exchange market hours on CoinField's centralized exchange at the same price as the market. If it is after hours, users can trade on the decentralized exchange. And then the article continues. All the tokenized assets would be tradable only against XRP or Solo, which meant a pairing of 30,000 stocks/ETFs with the two coins, informed the CEO. These tokenized assets will be redeemable for XRP and might lead its way to be a reserve currency, but only after fulfilling a set of requirements. And look, whether or not XRP ever becomes a true global reserve currency, this would certainly increase utility to some degree, because with XRP being the native asset of the digital of the XRP ledger, even if you're talking about using the decentralized exchange in this for this specific use case, as far as it pertains to stocks as I just cited here, one way to quickly get out of that, just in terms of interoperability, would be to convert to the value to XRP ultimately. So from that perspective, it makes a bunch of sense. But check out this quote from Bob Ross. There are many different aspects that are involved in setting XRP as a global reserve currency, like governments and banking systems acceptance, regulations, and so on. I think XRP is on the right track to facilitate and modernize the traditional bank transfers with strategic partnerships and their day-to-day developments. Now, the United States government is very well aware of the concern, certainly a concern for the United States, and admittedly, they understand it could happen. It's nowhere near happening, but it could. You could have the United States dollar just no longer be the global reserve currency. And look, let's be real. We all know this, right? United States has a huge leg up and power thanks to the United States dollar, which it controls, being the global reserve currency. I don't know that that's going to last forever. In fact, I'm somewhat skeptical now that this type of technology existed. It seems to make more sense to me that over time the world would adopt something, whether it's XRP or not. I don't know. Just to me, it makes sense, though, that as time passes, even outside, the potential collapse of the dollar, which some people think is coming, I'm not really going to talk on that in this video, but it just makes sense that perhaps a decentralized cryptocurrency that nobody can control, thanks to distributed ledger technology, it would make sense if something like that were really utilized, since it has an open market value as a global reserve currency. So we'll see if that ever happens. Anyway, the company has planned XRP X Solo summits in 6 countries, including Tokyo, Hong Kong, and Dubai. However, the United States remained out of this list. Sologenic will remain unavailable in the USA until the SEC can come up with much clearer guidelines in regards to cryptocurrency, IEO, and crypto ATS, informed Ross in an interview with Newslogical. The project Sologenic has been scheduled to go live in Q1 of 2020. So, fascinating. All right, next here, I got this from Tip Talon on Twitter. Thank you very much for tagging me, good sir. He writes, "Thoughts, Moon Lambo? I assume the flaw in this thinking is the fact that it's a volatile way to transact, since it's only volatile for 4 seconds. Answer 2 is XRP dead, or is it just sleeping by Brian Bishop?" And this, no offense at all, I'm just going to bluntly state that this is an uninformed opinion. It just is. No offense whatsoever intended. This is wrong, though. So here you go. Quora. Is XRP dead, or is it just sleeping? Banks, while learning about crypto from Ripple, now know they don't need XRP. I can't even get one sentence out without laughing. And again, I swear I don't mean to offend at all. I know that this guy's probably never going to listen to this, but still. They don't need Ripple, the company. Even the banks that do use Ripple technology know they don't need to use XRP to process the transaction. What banks want to process, $1.3 million, that upon completion is now worth $1.3 million, and he changed the dollars down there like slightly off. It was a statement that it could be worth more. They don't like the volatility of XRP or Bitcoin. Guess what happens if more banks started to use XRP? People would buy XRP, and the price would become even more volatile, giving banks even less reason to use it. So this is just factually incorrect. Banks don't care what the price of XRP is, period. They don't even hold it. Like, XRP doesn't need to be held by banks. That's one of the glorious things about this whole thing, is that you have market makers in the middle. You have exchanges providing the liquidity. And even the exchanges don't care what the hell the price is, because they're making money on the buying and selling of all the cryptocurrencies, specifically XRP in this case. It doesn't matter. It frankly does not matter. Now, if you want to talk about volatility, even though, again, I firmly state banks don't care. But if you want to talk about the volatility, I'm happy to do that. Take a look at this piece I recently covered, so I'm not going to run through it again. I think the headline will suffice. It's from AMB Crypto. XRP is 1/10 as volatile as fiat for cross-border transactions, says Ripple. They had a recent blog out there in their Ripple Insight series, and feel free to read through this. I'm not going to run through it. I've already covered it on this channel, so that's why I wanted to state. And all this is public knowledge. If you've got Google, if you've got the interwebs, you can find this out. So maybe do a little research prior to forming an opinion. That's how I like to conduct myself in life, because this is just so obvious. Like, it couldn't be more clear to me that this individual has just not done the research, yet has opinions. And bizarrely here, so there's this, if you're looking at the screen, you don't really have to, but there's this paragraph here that's in bold, and it's just unrelated to the rest of this. I don't know why it's here. It's not an ad. It confused me, but I'm not going to read it. Anyway, this guy continues writing. So Ripple, the company, is in a very hard spot. No, they're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. If XRP price movement sucks, then possibly more banks are likely to use it. If XRP price is volatile because people are selling or buying it, then any bank would be crazy to process even one transaction using XRP. And again, that's absolutely factually incorrect. Banks are not holding XRP. If Ripple finds a way to stabilize XRP, then who would buy it? What does that even mean? How is Ripple... Look... XRP has a price thanks to the open market. What do you mean Ripple, the company, is going, which makes it, by the way, something like 0.32% of volume on the XRP ledger? Like, what are they going to do to quote unquote stabilize XRP price, and why would they do that? Look, Ripple is the greatest champion of a healthy XRP ecosystem. They want the price to raise, go up over time. Not parabolically, just want to go up over time. They've stated as much here. But if you think that they specifically can control it, you're off your rocker here. Like, show me the proof of that. Like, there's no case to be made there. Anyway, maybe XRP would be a great store of value, ? And then, this is him writing. And then he writes, it can't be. Oh, it can't be a store of value. Well, that's what I'm using it for. What do you mean? I'm storing my value in XRP. Literally, factually incorrect. Anyway, political pressure can shut it down in 2 seconds. No, it cannot. I'll tell you what, this guy's really grinding my gears right here. He's burning my biscuits. He's steaming my vegetables. Look, political pressure can shut down... What do you mean political pressure can shut down a distributed ledger? We're talking about distributed ledger technology. It's decentralized. What do you mean political pressure can shut it down? No. Ripple supposedly only controls 30% of validator nodes. No, it's actually less than 20%. Comedy aside, what happens if one government agency demands Ripple, the company, shuts down their nodes? Nothing. Government, what do you mean? What are you talking about? A government agency. I don't know what government agency you're talking about, but no. What would that even do? Nothing. Functionally nothing. I'm sure you would like to believe the other 70% of nodes, of course, that's the wrong number, it's not 70%, with zero financial incentive to operate the network would continue to do so. Okay, so this is a misnomer right here, just the idea that you need to have some sort of financial incentive to support a network. No, if you're utilizing it, especially if you're an exchange or what have you, and you're making money based on the buying and selling of this, that's what's happening today. Like, it's already been proven out. Like, you don't have to have mining to support an ecosystem like this. There are financial incentives, all right? Business models rely on this. That is enough to make people want to continue to run the network, even though it actually costs a little bit of money. It doesn't cost much, a little bit of money, though. Complete fundamental misunderstanding of what's going on here. Anyway, then he writes, if you do, contact me, please. I'm not going to do that. I have a lush farm I want to sell you in Death Valley, California, overlooking the sea. Back to XRP. If you sell it, negative price pressure increases. Buy it and positive price pressure increases. Yeah, that's the first correct thing he stated here, I think. We are back to square one. How then would XRP be any better than a bank? What would even be the point of XRP? How would they fund operations if no one bought their coin? You need to do some research, dude. Like, they're not... Oh my god. Ripple is a profitable company. They have paying customers. Do you realize this? Anyway, and then they write, this guy writes, it's not just an XRP problem. There is no way big banks will use any volatile coin to process a transaction. Okay. Wrong. Like, you are absolutely factually incorrect. They will learn from Ripple. They will partner with Ripple, but they will never use XRP the way... most knobs, like myself, thought they would. Knobs, N-O-B-S. Is XRP a dead coin? It was dead on day one. This is a good time here. That was sad and depressing. I've decided to post something positive to balance this post out. Yeah. Completely uninsightful, but I love running through stuff like this because it's an opportunity for critical thinking. I love little critical thinking exercises. All right, last piece here. I did find this fascinating. Bitcoin 2017 surge caused by single entity, says Bloomberg. Last year, 2 academics concluded that the Bitcoin rally in 2017, when the cryptocurrency hit the all-time high, was caused by manipulation. Dun, dun, dun. Now the research authors figured out that the surge was likely caused by a single entity. In 2018, John Griffin, professor at the University of Texas, and Amin Shams, assistant professor at the Ohio State University, published a paper that claimed Bitcoin, the Bitcoin astronomical gain in late 2017 was the result of manipulation. Now the duo voiced interesting updates. They alleged that a single entity on cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex might be responsible for the crazy uptrend. The whale could send the Bitcoin price higher whenever it declined below certain limits. Tether's USDT, the stablecoin supposedly backed by the US dollar with the ratio 1-to-1. But by the way, that's actually incorrect. I don't know why they stated that in this article. Earlier this year, Tether, for the first time, acknowledged that only at that time anyway, about 74% of Tether was actually backed by the US dollar. And amazingly, the markets didn't even freak out about it. I was a little surprised, but not 1-to-1. That is factually correct, but that's what they write here. So backed by the United States dollar with a ratio of 1-to-1 was used for most of the transactions, Griffin claims. He stated in an interview with Bloomberg, quote, "Our results suggest instead of thousands of investors moving the price of Bitcoin, it's just one large one. Years from now, people will be surprised to learn investors handed over billions to people they didn't know who faced little oversight." Griffin and Shams claims rely on the theory that Tether created new USDT coins without being fully backed by the United States dollar. These coins were then used to buy Bitcoin, which eventually led to the price surge. The academics monitored USDT and Bitcoin transactions from March 1st, 2017 to the end of March 2018. They concluded that Bitcoin purchases on Bitfinex increased every time the Bitcoin price declined below certain thresholds. So there you go. That's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching. I very much do appreciate the support. I'm not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything, because of anything that I say or write, that would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!